time for the Hannity Washington briefing. We welcome back White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt is with us. Well, you know, you were very clear and strong in your remarks today. Let's talk about what we know and how dangerous it is and what the president is doing now to undo the damage that he inherited from Biden-Harris-Mayorkas.
Well, sure. And thank you for having me, Sean. And I think it speaks to how depraved the Democrat Party has become, that they are more angry at President Trump for deploying the National Guard to make D.C. the safest city in the world than they are at the foreign national terrorist from Afghanistan who ambushed two innocent patriotic National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C. It's just despicable. And your audience, the American public, cannot forgive, nor can we forget what the Biden administration and Secretary Mayorkas and everybody involved did to our country for 4 long years. They allowed tens of millions of illegal aliens from all over this world to invade our country's borders and to infiltrate American communities. Many of these individuals were paroled into the country, many of them known terrorists. We know, as Kevin Corke just reported, just a day before this shooting in Washington, D.C., there was another Afghan national who was caught making bomb threats in Texas. Remember, before the 2024 election, there was an Afghan national who was also caught for making bomb threats at election sites. So these are not people who should have ever been welcomed into our country. And so while President Trump has done everything in his executive power and through the One Big Beautiful Bill legislatively to secure the border, and that effort has been remarkably successful, we have had 0 illegal aliens released into our country as a result of President Trump's effective policies over the past several months. But we must not forget, and we cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that there are still threats in the interior of our country who were allowed in and released in by the Biden administration. And so that's why when the mainstream legacy media and those without a spine in our country say that President Trump's mass deportations have not gone far enough, President Trump says no, they haven't gone far enough, because we must deport every illegal alien who Joe Biden allowed into this country. And not only do these people serve as a national security threat, they are also draining the resources of American taxpayers. Look no further than the great state of Minnesota that has been run into the ground by Democrat leadership, Governor Walz, who is completely incompetent, the Somali migration invasion of Minneapolis, where we now have fraud rings of Somali migrants who are stealing nearly $1 billion worth of taxpayer benefits in that city alone. And don't take it from me, the New York Times, of all places, reported on that this week. And so we must be a country with laws. We must be a country with law and order. That's what President Trump and his entire national security team, Secretary Noem, Tom Homan, the entire White House is working on every day to restore. And the American people cannot forget the 4 long years of wide open borders that brought us to this point today.
Over 5,000 flagged for national security concerns, over nearly 7,000 flagged for derogatory information, which would be concerning. They were still allowed into the country. We have, according to reports, 885 national security risks that are still at large in the country, and that doesn't include the illegal immigration. Known gotaways, people that entered our country from over 200 countries, many with terrorist ties. I mean, closing the border is a big deal because it stops the influx of people that are not being vetted. But how do you possibly find known terrorists, people that are cartel members, gang members, drug deal? How do we find these people?
The Department of Homeland Security and the brave men and women of ICE are doing it every single day. And that's why we try to release as much information of the public, again, to remind your audience, to remind the American people of the national security threats and the grave dangers to our communities that this administration is removing off of our streets and deporting from our country on a daily basis. And President Trump has done more to crack down on illegal immigration and to strengthen our legal immigration system than any president in history. Several months ago, he announced a travel ban on 19 third world and failed state countries around the world. Secretary Noem announced tonight she's recommending that travel ban widens and covers more countries around the globe. Special immigrant visas, which we know many Afghans have used to come into our country, there has been a complete suspension and pause on all of those. If you look at the entire visa process in general, we have greatly strengthened and heightened the vetting process and requirements for that under Secretary Rubio's leadership at the State Department. And he has used his authority, which is unprecedented, to actually revoke the visas of many individuals who, yes, came here legally, but still pose a risk to our country and should have never been allowed in the first place. And I would just remind people around the world that coming to the United States of America is a privilege. It is not a right. And if you abuse that privilege, and if you don't align with the values of the United States, and you don't respect our country, our culture, our laws, and our people, you are not welcome here under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump.
All right, that's our White House briefing. Karoline Leavitt, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.